All right. Happy Thursday as I'm recording this. Welcome, welcome. Worldographer is coming up with a brand new version. The folks at Inkwell Ideas have been working on it night and day and night. Hey, Ian. Sorry, it's sorry, a lot of client calls, but glad you can hang out. Working out a lot. It's up on BackerKit if you'd like to support it. It's well surpassed its goal. There's an alpha version that is out there, and it's not special to me. I didn't. I've met Joe from Inkwell Ideas before. He's been very nice. Took me out to dinner once, actually, at my first PAX, which I still need to repay him for. But this is not some kind of special, no special access. You can download the demo directly from. Let's see. The link is on the backer kit, and the link to the backer kit is in the show notes. Or you can go to backer kit and probably search Worldographer 2, aka Worldographer 2025. I've got the software loaded up. Also, if you do want to check it out, a nice feature that they've done is this build, which you're downloading now, will install separately than if you're an existing owner of Worldographer, than your existing build. So you don't need to worry about putting an alpha build and having it muck around with your existing Worldographer setup. It'll be completely separate. Before we delve into the software itself, and keeping in mind, probably say this a few times, it is an alpha build. There's going to be stuff. I don't have any special knowledge of things. We're just going to go in there and futz around with it and check it out, as is kind of my usual thing. But just to be aware, it is alpha. We will probably run into bugs or oddities. It is, and I have no script. I have nothing to say, don't go here or don't do that kind of thing. I'm just going to muck around with it as I usually do. So we will most probably run into things, but who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky. So, but I thought before we get into there, why don't we just kind of catch up on what it's about and what's new specifically? And this is all from the backer kit. If you haven't heard of Worldographer and its predecessor, Hexographer, Worldographer is a map making program that lets you create and edit world and region maps, city and village maps, as well as dungeon, building interior, and other battle maps, plus cosmic sector maps. Even though we're calling it Worldographer 2025, it will be released later this year, like a new car model or like new car models. We'll have it ready in a couple of weeks after crowdfunding ends. You can even preview the demo version now. And that's just what I downloaded. I downloaded it this morning just to make sure that I've got the latest and greatest. We got some screenshots. That's fine. So, of course, in terms of what sets Worldographer apart from existing solutions, it's not a web-based app. It's actually downloaded on your computer, so you can use it offline. There's no online element. It's got a lot of generators. You can drill down. You can start with a world map and then drill down into more specific regions and areas as you go. And you can also generate kind of details about stuff. I think you can even populate a hex map with materials, not maybe materials, not the right word, resources, things like that. So it can do a lot. Okay, so what's new? So maybe the more important part, what's new? Here are just some of the improvements we're making. Updated, more modern UI, revised UI drawers for terrain, features, shapes, and labels, many small UI tweaks, a much faster world generator, customize the terrain the world generator uses, prettier coastlines and rivers, more options when importing graphics, more street layout options for cities, towns, and villages, more built-in icons to support generating modern sci-fi, western, and post-apocalypse city or village maps, more special line options, generate a room on the battle map, and then we get some. So that's kind of the scope. Obviously, not everything, but just some of them, probably the bigger ticket items, as they say. We've got the world kingdom mapping. This was there before. I'm imagining they've maybe tweaked some of it. I think some of this is new. I don't want to do one of those things where I'm going back and forth between the existing one and the new one. So we'll get into that. So I guess we're going into this, and we can do this ourselves. We just get a sense of all the madness we can get into. Hey, Dustin, we're looking for 2025. Take my money, please. Yes, exactly. And I don't know what the pricing is going to be on when it just goes to the store. Right now, it's on BackerKit. And I put a link so I can I'm just curious about people who use that link to track it. I don't get any. There are no kickbacks going on. I'm not a. I don't make anything from the BackerKit. So if you're worried about seeing that kind of genius link, it's just so I can just get a sense of, hey, how many people click through. I don't make anything off of it. I'm not in the bank for BackerKit or Inkwell Ideas or anything like that. So if if you see that link and you think, oh gosh, he's going to make some kind of commissions, this is all a farce. No commissions. Part of me wishes, gee, wouldn't it be great if I could? If I was in that kind of spot. No, no, I am not. Just just want to see who's clicking through. It's purely analytical. And if that bothers you, then you don't need to use the link. Dustin says they don't participate in Kickstarters for the old school method of buying the final product. I hear you. I hear you. And I presumably it will be on sale. All right, so that's all of that. Let's get down to brass tacks. Oh, maybe I should do that first and then this. All right, so here now we are no longer on the BackerKit page. We are in the demo. Oh, Ian's a tablet prepper. Interesting. Yeah, I like tablet stuff too. Though I think I mean, I'm sure I've used, I was gonna say, I'm sure I've used web app stuff on my tablet. I know I've drawn stuff using drawing programs on my tablet. But I think I always find they're just kind of oddities with the tablets and then saving stuff and getting stuff off. And I have an iPad which I love, but I always just find these little frustrating niggles about using it for some stuff that it always just makes me go, I wish it was more of a laptop. I was looking at, I didn't get one, but I was kind of looking at the sort of the MacBook Air for that kind of thing because I feel like the MacBook Air is sort of close. It's light enough to kind of be tablet-ish, but it's got the or say a Surface because it's got sort of tabletish, but it can be kind of more of a real laptop doing things like real, I don't know, things like I feel like the iOS, and maybe I'm just not up to snuff up to on what to do. Sometimes the switching between windows and doing different things, and I would find something I'd have windows that I wanted to kind of come back to, but then I'd run out of memory or something. So it's then like reloading the window, and it's like now I lost whatever I was doing is gone. I don't know. Browser wise, I'm talking about, it doesn't so much work, but like when I used to be on Reddit more, and the Reddit app would suddenly like reload, and I was like in a post, and I was trying to go back and like let me go back and grab something out of the post or mark it down or do it, and it's like all of a sudden it reloaded Reddit's kind of the home window, and I'm like, now I gotta. I know I often forget there you can do history and stuff, but it's just annoying things. Ian wonders if it would work if they ran it in a Docker container on a NAS network attached storage and connected it that way. Probably too reliant on keyboard shortcuts. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't use any keyboard shortcuts for Worldographer, so I have no idea. But I am also not really proficient in either putting stuff into Docker containers or stuff like network attached storage or things like that. So I have no idea. All right, we're looking at the setup screen. So we've got columns line up, which I think is good. I don't care. Map projection flat, that's fine. 100 hexes wide by 50. I guess that's okay. I always wonder, like, what it would be the good number for kind of an Earth-like space. I don't know if this is it or not. And one of the things they don't do. So Hexographer and Worldographer are not, they're not opinionated at all about the size of your hexes. They don't care. They just have these, was it 3 or 4 levels, which I think is, what is it? Like world, was it world, continent, kingdom? And then there's one below kingdom, I think. It doesn't care. So maybe this is about more or less if you're using right, and that's people use all kinds of different hex values too. I know that people have done the math on like, well, if you're using 6 mile hexes, this is how many hexes the Earth would be. I don't know. I do know. Octavian says, I do wish someone made an icon set for this with better looking hexes. Other than loading them being onerous, I don't see why it couldn't technically happen. Well, I mean, I don't even think it's that onerous. I think it's pretty easy to make, and people have made custom tiles, hex. It's not that difficult, and I think even in regular or the current Worldographer, I think if you just put them into a folder and sort of set the folder up right, which maybe is obviously some work up front, I think you can load them in there. I don't have a problem with the default. I like the default classic. I think they work quite well. If you're trying to do something be more artsy fartsy, then yeah, you can go down that path. But I don't find that there's an issue at all. Something that they added to the which I really like is you have the seating. Here we have this button which I don't think is there before, where you can configure the terrain used. And then let's see. You could click up the seating up and down and get different looks. We can configure the terrain used so you can get all these different things. I don't know about these enough. I have something I probably have to drill down. I don't want to just muck around with it because I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm sure we could do some tests of picking a seed and then changing all these things around and seeing what happens, maybe. But it's there. So if you really want to get into it, you can. But I'm gonna save that aside for a moment. Let's pick some seeds here. So the only thing I might like, though, probably doesn't really matter that much, is could I just pick like a completely random seed? Just like give me a button that just gives me between whatever I don't know what the bounds are of the seeds, but we can just kind of keep clicking around. We get all kinds of stuff. What am I looking for? That's not too bad. All right, let's see. I kind of like that one. You kind of have. I like a few different continents. It's probably just me and like Earth. I'm an Earth normie, I suppose. I like having a couple of continents. I kind of like having some places that are sort of spread out a little bit, and then some things are close together. So that one's pretty good. We'll do this one. Doesn't ask if there's any mention of importing previous versions into this new one. I didn't see that, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Let's see. Does it say really quick? No. Oh, and Worldographer, Inkwell Ideas also in terms of icon sets. I know they have a Patreon, and I know they release tons of icon sets through their Patreon. So I think if you want to support them in that way, I don't know if they put them for sale in other places, but there's a lot of different icon sets also. Let's see in the back. Something how does okay? Will it be okay? That's not backer kit. No, it doesn't say it. I can ask. I can reach out to them and ask about that. I'm guessing it's gonna be backwards compatible, but I'm not gonna say absolutely 100%, but I would be really, really shocked if you couldn't bring in your existing maps. $300 to get them through BackerKit. Is that on their icon sets? Well, they have a ton. I think I just saw that it said something like, what did they say? 1,600. So does that end up being $3 $3 a set of icons? So if you took it that way, I mean, this is what I always felt like when you invest in something that's kind of very mature. Like, oh, I want to start playing this game like I don't know, like a living card game or something where there's a million boxes now. And it's like, oh, I want to pick up everything and play. And now it's like that's $3,000. It's like, geez, but there's a million cards. So it seems crazy, but at the same time, there's a ton. I was wondering more if they had individual sets that you could pick up, and just if you wanted to pick up a few, you could kind of pick and choose some. But check out their Patreon; they got a bunch, and I don't know if how their Patreon works because I'm not a member, but I kind of follow it. But you might be able to score some particular icon sets. I really just did the question of if you don't like the built-in ones, can you put in others? The answer is absolutely you can. They've done a bunch. I'm sure other people have done a bunch. You can probably search on itch or Drive Through RPG or I don't know, Etsy. I don't know where you could probably find. They're probably there. So here we've got they said they redid the drawers, which is what they're calling those in the sections, tabs where everything is. So before you had them kind of all vertically aligned, the tabs here, they have them, the labels are here and we would click on them, I think, right? Click, there we go. We got the layers, we got our terrain, we have our features, our shapes. Sorry, my camera's covering up. Labels, fog of war. Oh, that's all one. And then, what does that say? Oh, right, the trace underlay. So these are very familiar. Let's just do some stuff. That's what we're here to do. All right, we can regenerate a map level. We can generate. We generate. I'm not sure. What's the? These are some of the things that I think from I don't know because I don't usually use them actually to generate coasts. And sorry if you can hear there's a whining on the background of my mic. I try to have stuff set up to cut out the noise, but it might be on the background while I'm talking. Somebody's doing yard work or something outside. And it's like the perfect wine to be really irritating to me, even if you can't hear it. What I was going to say is, and I can't say whether this is true or not. I really don't know. I think something that I would like is if these were set up in kind of the order of best practice to do, like generate your coast, then generate your rivers, then generate this, then generate that, then generate, then generate. Dustin doesn't hear anything. Great. So I'm just going to go and let's just generate some coast. And I think this island is going to be our play area for now. So we're going to stick to here. So we're going to generate the coasts, convert adjacent water hexes to sea, use isometric features for coast, add water, use classic, classic sea blue. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Let's do that. Okay. Bam. So we got some coasts, make it look kind of nice. Definitely more organic. So now we got, instead of it looking like deep water all the way into the coasts, we can see the kind of shallower bits. All right, now let's generate our rivers. Enter number of rivers, and then where to put it. All right, well, let's do something here. So these are in order. So we want features. What are features? Those are your towns and things like that. We want above terrain. We want above water, terrain water. Oh, that's that water terrain, above water terrain land, above terrain, Y ordered. I think I'm going to make a, okay, add, well, nothing's selected, so I don't know how to make one selected. So we're just going to put rivers. We'll just make a rivers. Where did it put rivers? Okay, good. Rivers. There we go. Perfecto. Kyle says that coast is much improved from the current Worldographer coast generation. Oh, it's something I didn't really use. So glad to hear it. I mean, I would imagine everything should be, well, they're trying to make a lot of improvements. So I'm sure a lot of it is performance. And I know when I read in an earlier post somewhere, right, that they're basically trying to bring the engine and everything kind of up to current standards kind of thing. And that's just some cold-ish water for the working man. All right, we're going to generate our rivers. We're going to put them. Oh, it won't let me put them somewhere. Oh, use shapes or features. Oh, I don't know. What's the difference? Classic shapes? I thought I was going to put it where I was putting it, but it's not. 10 rivers for the world? I mean, I know at this, I'm imagining that we're talking about kind of the major rivers, right? So this would be in kind of Earth style, the Nile, the Mississippi, the Rhine, the Rhone, the Yellow River, I don't know, what's the two in ye old Mesopotamia, those two rivers whose names I can't remember, the Tigris and Euphrates. It's probably a couple more. So 10 probably for this level of map probably seems pretty okay. Feeling good about that. But now where did it put them? Where are my rivers? There's one. Oh no, there's two. That river doing a loop? Holy moly. What is going on there? Uh maybe not what I want. There's a river way up here in the sticks. So I would imagine these are the big time rivers, right? Big time. Well, that one's zigzag, but it didn't make it up to kind of elevation. Can we delete? Can't delete. Well, I'm gonna get rid of those rivers. I'm not digging the rivers. Not, what is that? That's okay, you can taper. That's cool. Select. Yeah, I want to select. I want to delete. Oh, it's just, oh, I see. So I can select. That's interesting. Wait a minute. Okay, how does this work? Oh, oh. No, yeah, deselect. No. What is that? Oh, quick reminders. All right, no, I want to select. No. Yes. Am I making more river? No, I don't want to make a river. I want to select a river. Oh no. Control Z. I got Control Z, but no, that didn't do it. Select a river. Got it. Can I shift select? Shift. I can. Okay. I'm not sure how it's deciding what makes a segment. Can't tell. I can't. It doesn't want. There we go. It's interesting. I have to go in order, and it really put it out to sea. All right. You know what? I'm not going to river. Why? I'm not going to worry about cleaning up the rivers. What I tell you, what I do like, I like you get the little coast action. That's really nice. Yeah, the rivers are tough. I don't really mind putting them in myself. It's kind of nice. It's just a time saver to look at, like, oh, where's it putting the major rivers? Oh, look at that. You got an underwater volcano. I'm down with that. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. Let's zoom in on this area. So I'm going to leave whatever rivers it made. I'm going to leave them behind. We're not going to worry about rivers. What I think I want to do is I do like this area here. Let's zoom in. So we can zoom in different levels. One of the powers of Worldographer is you can generate this whole world map, and then you can come down to different levels and it'll zoom in. Now, one of the things I found, and I don't think there's any really way around it, I find it would when it would build out this terrain. So what's happening here is however big these hexes are, who knows? I don't know, hundreds of miles, maybe. You see this mountains hex, it's going to start peppering. When we zoom in, it's going to pepper this with different things. And I find sometimes it would get kind of random, which is probably unavoidable that it would do that. I imagine it's trying to do the right things. Like, oh, look, we have kind of grasslands here, and oh, we've got this here, so we're going to mix and match, and we're going to pull in some of these forest woodlands here. But then we have jungle ones over here, and oh, there's jungle kind of hills over here. So we're going to kind of pull this around. But you end up getting, to me anyway, I always feel like it was sort of a random patchwork as opposed to something that made more sense to my eye. And that's generally when I would start to go in and really fiddle with it. And if you've watched some of my streams where I would play around with Worldographer trying to do something, I would spend a good amount of time once we've zoomed in to turn lay a certain level, starting to kind of play around with, okay, let's kind of fix this, let's kind of fix that. Like I said, I don't know if there's any real way around it because what I see is random. Somebody else might look and say, oh no, this makes perfect sense to me. I'm sure they're using something to model on. I don't think it's just essentially rolling dice. I think they probably have something that they're working on behind the scenes where, like I said, they're probably pulling in different things and trying to, maybe they have some things weighted and whatever. There's probably no way to fix it to make it look great for everybody. The other thing is it would take some time. I'm curious if it's going to be faster. My desktop is not like a super fancy, but it's not slow. So it should be, let's see. So Spooktavian says, figure still has the problem of repeating coastlines consistently and when it's transitioning between the perspectives, like will 1320, where's 1320? Well, let's go to 1320. 13 that's 12, 13, 12. Okay, yeah, we can little nice shape there, 1320. Still that coastal bay if you go one deeper. Well, let's go one deeper because that's kind of what I want to do next. So let's see what happens. And we can check out how the coastlines adjust and also how the terrain adjusts. So here we go. All right. How many tiles across should the child map have per tile in the current map? Select 0 to delete the map level that has a child at the current map level. Well, let's see, how many, select 0 to delete the map level that's a child. So I think it's maybe I feel like that could be maybe written a little more simply for kind of so there's kind of parent, if we think of it, things are in layers and there's sort of a parent-child relationship so that we're at the world with the top level, and so the child level at this point would be the continent level, I think. In any case, I'm fine with it. But you whatever maps, whatever kind of map style you're using, you'd want to figure out what this is because you want to keep it consistent. So for example, for me, I've been digging, I've kind of transitioned from 6 mile hexes to 3 mile hexes. And so I would want to set this to maybe a different number of hexes across if I was doing kind of 6 to 3 or whatever you're doing, right? You want to figure that out. I'm fine with 6 right now. 6 is totally a-okay. So let's just hit the button and we'll see what happens. Boom. Oh, that was fast. Now here's the thing. Where am I? It looks like, am I still, so it kept me in that spot. All right, let's go back. Let's zoom back in again. So it looks like it did not hold. The coastline just didn't even replicate. So 1320, we go to continent, which you've done. And I guess that's this. Bye bye bay. Yeah, I see it kind of filled it in. It wouldn't be bad to know what these overall grid sizes are. Can I zoom in on this map just to, okay, no, that's that zoom. Okay. The thing is, well, yeah, so here's what I would say. I think once you've established, that's tough because I think it shouldn't fill in. If this was the bay, let's just go back out again. So we're looking here. I guess we're looking at 1320. If you've established this coastline that has this bay, I think you got to honor it and not, I don't know, not, but maybe this is obviously this is like a really zoomed out map and zoomed in. There's stuff going on here. Yeah, it is definitely a hard problem to solve. I can't, the thing is too, is I can barely tell which one of those was where I am. I guess I just have to believe, where was I? I gotta I gotta go do it again. Hold on. World. All right. I'm gonna zoom as 1320. That's as far as I can zoom in. And then it puts me kind of on land. I guess it's this hex. It's really hard to say. It even expanded the land further out to sea. Yeah, see, this is where I wonder. So here's kind of my wondering thing: is do we need to wait? And this is part about when do you do things? What should be the order of operations? I don't usually mess with the coastline contours, so this is not an issue that I usually run into because I'm just not doing it. So you can see how the island's a lot more messy now. But I guess what I'm wondering is should we, zoom this out all the way. Should we be, because you can delete the coastline, right? You can delete all coasts. So let's just do that. I wonder if maybe at this level, I'm not sure. This is where I'd like to know. Okay. So let's see, got some comments here. So Spooktavian says, I don't think it actually understands the coastlines as much as applying an aesthetic stamp to make the edges look nice. And then Kyle says, it's likely because the coastline is just a layer of sea over top the terrain land layer, and there's not flatten the map functionality happening when generating new terrain. And then CC Wetter 123 says, pretty sure they just use stamps for coastline generations. You can see how coastline patterns repeat pretty often. And he points out some of the hexes that use the same stamp, so it would have problems at lower levels. Yeah. And I think maybe there's no way around it. So let's go down to, so we went down, so it's probably better than maybe not to generate well, I don't know. I don't know what's better or not. So here we are, and we could see here how this mountainous area, we come back up to world, this mountainous area here, because we were looking at 1321, now has been expanded. I think it's here. I think this is 1321, and we get a lot more variation in the mountains. And you can see how it's trying to mix in some different things. So it's pulling these different elements that were around and kind of trying to put them in somewhat of a sensible way. Though one thing that would be nice, it doesn't look like it's doing too much. So I like to follow, you don't have to because we're doing fantasy maps. So who the heck cares on the one hand? I like the idea of kind of mountain ranges sort of mimicking the coast in many ways. You often see that the mountain ranges are sort of the coast and wherever kind of is nearest coast, oftentimes they'll follow. Not always, because there are mountain ranges in the middle of a continent, but you can kind of see this kind of. I like to try to follow that. Like you have these sort of contours you're following. This not happening. So the mountains are kind of this sort of blob. Some of the mountains extending all the way out to the ocean, which obviously can happen too, but you're not getting that same sort of flow like the coasts. I don't know if that means that they're generating it, but I have a sense that they're doing is they're doing kind of a nearest neighbor sort of thing, like taking the nearest neighbors on the land and kind of mixing them in, and not necessarily doing what you might have on something else that's following more of a, I don't know, I don't want to say geographical kind of model, but I'm not sure. I say all this just kind of looking at the way it's doing it, that how it reads to me, but I don't have any insight on the algorithm, so I'm not really sure. So if we stay here, but one thing that's very nice is this stuff is very snappy. It's really snappy to create, really snappy to zoom in and out of. And it's doing a pretty good job of keeping me where I am. I would have those kind of issues in Worldographer where I would try to switch layers and I move a little bit and I could lose track of where the heck I was and it would be hard to get back. I feel like it's easier for me to find out where I was and get back. So let's keep going down. Let's keep going down. So that's our continent map. I'm going to keep it at 6. Yeah, we're keeping it at 6. I mean, look how many is that? 60. Well, let's see. 6,480,000 hexes. Is that right? Oh, 7820. Okay. But the hexes aren't the same size, but same area. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep asking you to do the math, Kyle, but it seems like it put me in about the right spot, more or less. Now you can see the mountains have kind of scattered even more. Well, it's hard to say. I don't know. Hard to compare levels, but you can see it's got this scatter. We got some more stuff going on. We're seeing a lot more repetition of terrain, which is not. This is going to be kind of hit or miss, I suppose. Not that this is a problem, and it's going to happen if you're developing a world and you're going to do it. You're going to end up with tons and tons of. If you started a world level and then build your setting from the world level, as we have on Earth, you're going to end up with hundreds and hundreds of miles of forest or whatever. I don't find this necessarily the best if you're starting out, because it just means that you're going to feel intimidated by the amount of hexes to fill in. So this is where you're just going to have to, because we're going to zoom in again, and we're just going to make, you're just going to have the fact that there's going to be a lot of mountains and things. And this is where, like I said, I usually wait till I get down to that province level where I'll start to tweak these, because for myself, I don't want to have just a whole thing that's just jungle. But of course, if you go to the Amazon or whatever, yeah, there's a ton of jungle, or the mountains, or whichever mountains you want to go to. This is the farthest zooming out point. I do like you can kind of see the hex level above, and then your hexes, and then, or I guess 2 levels up, and then 1 level up, and then your hexes. Kyle with some more maths. Your kingdom hex is a 3-mile hex. Your continent hex is 18-mile hexes, and your world hex is 54 miles. Well, there you go. Oh, they see. Yeah, then you can do the kind of you can absolutely then do the math of how many 54-mile hexes is the world, or you can guesstimate. All right, we're gonna stay over here, because why not? And we're gonna go down another level, another notch. This is the lowest level. Yep, we're gonna do 6 again. It's gonna take a minute. And not sure, like I said, not sure if you can tell from the stream and everything, but I have had no kind of lagginess in moving through. All right. And now we can zoom in. You can see that, yeah, each one of these small hexes, let's just call them, you can call them whatever you want. I don't know. If you want each one of those is 6-mile hex, you're going to see there's a lot of sameness here. Right. And they've peppered some things in here. So they'll pepper some of these. And some of these I like. Sometimes I feel a bit random. Like there's a whole hex of grasslands in the middle of these things. I might just, or I guess these are more shrublands, right? Is it more kind of savanna? What is that? Oh, it's just grassland. Okay. Yes, hope you'll right. If you live over here, hope you like them mountains. Yeah, I would probably. This is where I'd want to if we are assuming. Where are we? So I would. I don't know. We're sort of where would we think? It also might be nice to have a just something to see is to put some bands if we could. I might have to. I'm gonna have to make a note of this. It might be cool on the the small map, the kind of if we could have some bands, if we want to look at what are our sort of our what would you call them, like your temperature band, like it's a tropical. Are we in the tropics? Are we in the subtropics? Are we in the temperate? We obviously we know that the ice, whatever those levels, but I kind of feel like the tropics is maybe down here, so we're maybe in a subtropical zone. Hey Sam, how are you? It does work a bit better going from bottom up, but you can't you the lowest level you can generate at the start is kingdom. So you can generate the kingdom level and then zoom down into the province level, but you can't generate at the province level. I'm sure it's just easier. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that. This Let's see. Kyle says this island seems comparable to Florida real world perspective. That's true. Yeah, could be. Could be. Or South America. Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of we have some kind of savanna type stuff mixed in. I would want to maybe, this is where I would get into. Look, this is the art of the very much, what would I call it? The very much art, I guess, opposed to science of setting, where you're going to come in and you're going to kind of pick out these little spots and figure out, okay, is what's going on here. I would probably connect these up, maybe make it something, and try to figure out why there are these grasslands here. What's going on? There's in here we do have elevations, so maybe these are valleys that are grasslands. Though I would have thought the valleys being lower to sea level would be actually more jungle. So I would probably maybe change out those I would probably go in and say, okay, where's my is there a thick jungle? Yeah, I might actually change those to that a little bit, maybe change that one. So you get that. We've got some water here. Now what we can do here is I don't want to generate, because I would probably think, well, here's the coast. Because remember, we have to remember we're actually on this coastline. So the water is going to be actually flowing down. But the mountains that are right up against the coast essentially kind of make it a bit of a drag. Might need to go up a level. Let's go up a level. Oh my gosh. My God. And it's weird because you have all this kind of scattering and then you have this straight lines, right? I would probably, that's the other thing I would do is let me kill some of those straight lines. So we get more of the farmland in here. So if we kind of take the guidance that they're giving us, that obviously there are cultures residing in here. I don't think we have a generate settlements thing, do we? Oh, we do have generate. Well, let's see what happens. Well, let's do something here. We're down in, let's go down to province level, even though let's come down here. Whoa, no. I just wanted to get over to the coast. No, stop. I see. Okay, here's the islands. Here's the coast. It's a very busy coast. A lot of little desert islands, but they're big. Oh, there's like hill atoll things. Like I said, I would probably want to clean some of that. I'd probably maybe go to the kingdom level, clean some of these little islands up that are actually not that small. Because if you're doing 6-mile hexes, these are not insignificant little things. Not to say you can't have them in your world, but for me, I might look and say, those might seem like a lot of dotty islands. But if we generate, you know what? Here's the other thing I don't know, right? So this is a good question. Before we generated the coasts, before we generate the first time around, we generated the coasts before we generated all the levels of the map. That might have been a mistake. It might be that now is the time to do it. So we're going to generate coasts. We're going to do it. We're on the province level. Let's see what happens. Or actually, let's do it so we can see it a little bit. Actually, no. Let's. I keep changing my mind. Let's do it from here. So let's do this again. We're going to generate our coasts. Use isometric. We're going to use classic C. Or wait a minute. Had we? No, wait. We had. Didn't we have one level below, or did we generate it first? I don't remember the order of things. Someone's going to have to rewind. Let's see. It didn't do it. All right. So we're going to do it again for here. I wish it would let me. Maybe it'll let me pick that as a default at some point. Now we get that. Where's our island? The thing is, oh, we're on a different island. That's come over here. Is this the little butt? Is this the butt? Whoops. I don't want to be. How can I? There we go. I'm not sure. Okay, so we got, because maybe this is the butt, and it's actually not as bad. We go back up to world. Oh, it's interesting. It's not, it did it again. It's not the same. I wonder if, well, I'm not sure. All right, so we're going to go into, we went into continent. Now we're going to go down to kingdom. We're going to generate our coasts again. It's got a lot. Octavian says, I think we'll get independent coasts at every level regardless. Could be. Can't. The coasts look nice. Yeah, it just makes me wonder where the best spot to do your coast is. I definitely will say I'm getting some lag now. So I might say that you might want to generate your coasts towards the end of whatever you're doing. Now I find that using the arrows, boy, you're getting some real pock marks. Do I even want it? Do I even want to dare to go down to the province level and build out that coastline? Because it's going to be massive. I really like the way the coastline looks. I do like that. But performance-wise, I might just delete them because it's a lot. Uh-oh. All right. Delete all coasts. Yeah, I'm going to delete them all. Spinning wheel. All right. There you go. Yeah. Oh, much better. So yeah, when you generate those coastlines, at least at the moment in this alpha build, might want to do so with care or on a small map, because that was finally pushing my limits. I do want to generate nations and empires. Let's see what we go here. It must be on the world view. Okay. Well, you could move us to the world view. Number of nation empires, size limit, settlements, varied colors. No, let's use varied colors. Fill with translucency, sure. I don't know. We're on a world level, so how many? I feel like nations, empires, size limit, number of settlements. Is that the upper number? I feel like you could have. I don't want to put too much, but I feel like that's 10 is way too little. But maybe yeah, I'm going to put 50. Let's see how. Hopefully, it won't be. All right, it's placing empire number 11 out of 50. Fails 8 out of 100. Okay, I can't. I can move around. All right, we can see here. We have Shinan or Zinan. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. Interesting that they've got their entire little continent or large island, but they don't have this little corner. Who controls this little corner? We have a city. Maybe that's the capital. Jiangsu. I know we got notes. Do we have any notes for this? Yes, we do. All right. So Jiangsu is the city. Affluence booming, laborers, craftsmen, merchants, and noble or leaders all doing well. Founding reason, defensive position. Government is as a weak leader with a council, mostly good. Government type, militocracy. Population 900,000. Wow. Reaction outsiders, they're distrustful. Town guard, corrupt leaders and some regulars, but others try to be honest. Okay. It's 100 years old. It's got a historic site where a great speech was given. It's got a courthouse, a casino, a harbor, an old city, and some barracks and training. That's cool. This island, we're on the world level. So this could be Australia, Spoctavian. It ain't small. All right, we're on that biggest level. So this is a lot. It's got not Beijing, but Beijing. Or is that Beijing? Yeah. Beijing, right. Yeah. Isn't that? It is the capital. Isn't that how you spell Beijing? I think it is. Affluence, typical. Labor struggling but trying to become middle class who are okay. Noble leaders, they're doing well. Founding reason, coastal or river. Well, it is somewhat near the coast. Hopefully, we zoom in. We might put it on a coast. We haven't placed any rivers. Government mostly corrupt council. It's a matriarchy. 700,000. It's welcoming outsiders. It's corrupt from top to bottom. It's 300 years old. It's got two palaces, headquarters of a guild, a zoo, a circus, a menagerie, the legislature, and the barracks for training. The interesting thing is this is all supposed to be of the same nation, but they have different ruling types. So it could just be for that city. The cities have different rulers, but the overall king, queen, emperor. Close. We don't have anything there. Gotta zoom in more. Nope. So that one, do I have to click on the name? Okay, so that one doesn't have, or do I? Oh, I click on that. Never mind. Yushi. It's still trying to place Empire 11. Maybe these empires are too. I might have been overzealous with doing the 50. Zhongzhong, 1,000 years old, and Zunshi, 3,000 years old. Let's see. So it's trying to put this empire down, or did it do it and I just missed it? So you do have this kind of notes. Maybe it already finished. I want it to also generate. Oh, let's generate roads. Include ruins. Yep, fractal-ish. That's fine. Whoa, we got a sea road. Oh, we got the Antonio. Hello, Antonio. I kind of like the idea of the if that's a trading route, but it should have a different color if it's going over the ocean. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on there. All right, and now let's generate our hex crawl locations. That's fine. Oh, what's that? The coral is vibrant here. Oh, so you got like a coral reef. Oh, wait a minute. It's putting villages. So remember, we're on an alpha. So I imagine that villages in the ocean, unless there's an island here. Let's just check because could be a little atoll. Let's go down to the continent. Where'd our town go? Town, is this our town? Hold on a minute. In our world, this was called, oh, it was just a classic settlement village. All right, close. Go down a continent, we don't get that note. We do got our vibrant coral. No note about that. I wonder if there's a way to make sure the notes from different levels continue, because we want to keep those notes. So if we go back, let's actually go somewhere new. Maybe those notes won't exist. Let's go zoom up. Let's go to the great state of Antonio in the mountains here. Now if we zoom, we've got a settlement camp. Oh, we got a dragon. Nice. Dragon's lair. And then Hermique. Hermique. So if we zoom down to continent level, Hermique is here, but there's no note. Yeah, I think hopefully, and like I said, alpha, right? We got to keep in mind alpha, alpha, alpha. Hopefully, we'll get notes permeating through the different levels, so that we don't have a situation where we have to zoom up, unless that's something you're doing specifically for the design. Not sure. And then what does it say? I wanted to generate. So we generated roads. Now let's generate our. Did we generate hex crawl locations? Did I do that already? Oh yeah, we did. Right. That was these things. Now let's regenerate our resources. Animal, brick, lumber, etc. values. This will generate the values for your maps of various resources. Do I wish to continue? Yes, I do. Now, does that mean if I come here? No. Does that mean I come here? Coral vibrant. Oh, we got some. What is this? X marks the spot. What do we got? The treasure is rumored to be hidden here. It may still be here, already may have been looted, or never really existed. That's cool. So if we zoom down, let's zoom down to kingdom level. Where is our X? Is it gone? Nope. It just migrated up. And then if we zoom down again, we're closer. But no notes. Okay. Yeah, hopefully they'll get the notes to migrate. All right, what did Kyle? Kyle says, click a forest to see if there's information about resources. Okay. I can do. Now it might be that you have to regenerate these, but I'll go up to, we did it for world, so I'm going to go up to world level. And these, so to keep in mind, just for my clumsiness is going through this, people might be screaming, but this is how Worldographer worked. These are features that I really didn't use before. I'm kind of more curious now about them. I used to just use it and just generate the maps. I mean, I was always someone that didn't, they say you only use 20% of your brain. Well, I only used maybe 20% of Worldographer for most of my stuff. I always knew that stuff was there, and I thought it was really cool. It just didn't enter into my particular process, as it were. So Kyle says, click on forest. Nothing there. I think the resources are those. Hold on a minute. Generate, or do we have to, hold on a minute. Is there something I have to go to? Let me just make sure I'm looking at the right thing. The resources of this map level. Okay. So I'm going to try this, though it might be foolish. Let's go back over to where we started this whole thing. Aren't I on the island? No, I'm not on the island. Where am I? How did I end up over there? There we go. We were kind of down in this area somewhere. Where was our jungle area? I know we kind of mucked around. It still should be there, right? I think we were down here somewhere, right? Here's some jungle. Okay. All right, let's see what this might be tough. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to generate next crawl looking. Oh, we're just going to regenerate resources. Says they were regenerated. So now we get here, nothing. Are there certain resources? What should I be looking for? It's not going. Now, I don't know the wrong thing. In either case, terrain stats? No. World info? Nations, cultures. Oh, we got all these socket base, military oligarchy, Oxport, Champa movie. And it looks like it must have run out because it only made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I told it to make 50, it made 10. Oh, it has on the bottom of the screen. Is that what I'm missing? So let me see here. Hold on. Terrain tool has resource attributes. It does. So let's see if I pick one of these. Does that change? It does. But I'm not seeing it actually update. Add edit view. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's some other interface that I should be doing. So it does have some of these where I guess you can set these whatever you want. Just need to figure out where it's showing those things. I'm just gonna say alpha build. Alpha build. I don't know where it would be. I don't know where it would be on the interface at the moment. Kyle says that if they recall correctly, Worldographer just makes assumptions about a terrain tile resource. For example, a forest might always have 100 resources of lumber. Okay, could. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not sure. I can ask. Yeah, if you guys have questions, because I'll probably reach out to Inkwell Ideas. I can definitely reach out and ask questions on folks' behalf, and then they can either tell me or they can maybe post it somewhere. So yeah, if you have things to know, things you want to know about some of the mechanics behind it, let me know. I think as far as the alpha build's going, I mean, a lot of it's working. I mean, really, this is where I get into it, right? So there are some things that we ran into some issues with. Performance with I would say probably the big things just is the coast, just in terms of it doesn't replicate the coast through the layers. This is where I would think like where I would as kind of a teaching tool somewhere say, hey, do these things first. Do all your layers, do all your stuff, and then do the coast so that the coast can match up. Because then if you have all your layers, then they can do a bottom up coastline kind of thing that might make it more sensible than having a coast and then having other stuff going on, or is not to. It also was kind of a performance killer with all the layers once you're putting in all the coastline in there. But alpha build, and that's honestly not something I never really use that, because part of the idea for me of the abstraction of hexes is I'm not worried about the specific coastline look. In fact, for me, this is doing everything that I use Worldographer for right now, and it works. There's not really like my general use case is, oh yeah, I could just roll with this. I could roll this alpha build and do everything I want, and it's just snappier and faster, and it works really well. In terms of the added stuff, like doing the kingdoms, I think I'd like to know more. This is just maybe even just a me thing. I think that the feature is very cool, and I'm curious if it's just a limitation of the alpha build, the fact that we only get them at the kind of the world level. We still have some of those, the rivers. I think I'm sure alpha build, they're just a little bit funky. But I like that it kind of plotting out all the stuff. And really, for you guys solo players out there, you could throw a whole bunch of stuff in there and just have it generated for you. And you've got governments and how old these places are and all kinds of stuff. And I like the classic. I like the classic hexes. And I like that it's put stuff in the ocean too. For those people wondering why you might need to go up the ocean, the fact that you got treasure, some X marks the spots for treasure. We got some kind of undersea. What is this? Oh, it's a submerged battle. Wow. What is that? An orca? So you got some monsters, an octopus, maybe a giant octopus to make it undersea ruins, perhaps. Recent Recently destroyed by a curse, collapsed into the sea. Wait, what did it say? Inhabitants, a ghost responsible for the area becoming ruins is there. Strange weather, and it was originally a town. That's pretty awesome. So there's a really awesome features. And like I said, I didn't use this stuff much in Worldographer, so it's already there. Then great, but it's here now. It's cool for me. And you can use as much or any or as much or all these features or some of these features or none of these features, right? As much as you want. A sense of foreboding dominates this area. A great but evil wizard was slain here. An evil god cursed this location. Bam, bam, bam. And then some more ruins. This is an anciently destroyed place. It was flooded. It's vine covered, which we might use like algae or some kind of seagrass. Gargoyles. There's a fault line, and it was a village. Sam says an ancient submerged battlefield sounds sweet. It does, man. Something to run across. Certainly an interesting adventure location. Cal says that rivers, coasts, roads, etc., are all on separate layers over top of the terrain. If you're able to talk to the devs, perhaps mention that these additional layers should be included when generating levels. Yeah, yes, I will. I will definitely mention it to them in terms of, hey, this is kind of something I spotted. I imagine some of the stuff is probably they're probably already aware of these. I don't. The thing is, I don't know. I'm not them. I don't know what what their intentions are, but I would hope that you want your coastlines. You don't want the world to kind of shift and change a ton in between levels. I mean, you get some of it, right? We know that there's these coastlines. There might be islands and things. So there's going to be some flux, but I think you generally want the stuff that when you zoom in, it doesn't feel like you're just completely changed. But there's a lot of limits in what it's doing, and nothing else really does this. Like, this is a unique kind of niche product, and I always felt that from Hexographer 1 to Worldographer, as they keep improving things, there's certain things you run into, but I haven't found anything that does anything what this does, and the kind of the power and tools that it has. Ooh, what the heck did I miss that? What is that? It's a beacon, a tower with a beacon fire on top, and a residence in a house nearby are located. That's pretty awesome. That's a new symbol. I don't think I've seen that symbol before. Looked like a top hat with like Carrot Top's hair sticking out of the top, but it's a beacon. Ooh, here was that another battlefield. Oh, bad magic. A sense of foreboding. A great evil wizard was slain here, and it was cursed. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. That's some nice stuff. And like I said, until I did those coasts, man, it's been really snappy. I'm sure there'll be a bunch more optimizations. I imagine, at least attempted optimizations. But yeah, that's it. So, Worldographer 2025. It's coming soon. So it's not coming in 2025. It's coming as the car model. So sometime soon, if we go back and look at the backer kit, it's got 26 days left. So it's about another month. And then maybe another month after that. So we're probably looking at, let's see, that's the end of so middle of October. So maybe around, dare I say, we're looking at a Thanksgiving to Christmas release if they stay on target. It's a very small shop, so you can just be aware of that. But looks great, runs great. There are some stuff. I mean, I recommend just download it. Go ahead and download it and take a look, see what it's working. You can even now, like I said, in terms of my general use case, the alpha is everything that I need. And if you like that extra stuff, which I think I'm gonna have to spend more time with, maybe I'll need to dig in there and see the facts about how that's where I'd love to see, like, how does it create this stuff? And can we tweak some of those? Is there some JSON or some sort of something we can go in and kind of play around with some of the things it's making so we can kind of tune it more? But you can always just edit the ones you like and go. And, for being able to create a planet and then drill down all the way to a local game area, like I said, it's super powerful. Nothing else I've seen comes close. I use it all the time. So there we go. All right, folks. Well, I hope this was useful to you. Go to the Banker Kit, read all the stuff, download the demo, check it out. Coming soon. Thanks for hanging out and taking a look with me. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.